And for those of you not familiar with Toastmasters, and Jacob and Avery are guests here, and Jacob, this is your first opportunity to attend a Toastmasters meeting, correct? It's all about communication and leadership. It's not just public speaking. There's other aspects as well that I've learned from Toastmasters that has really made my communication much more effective and thereby made me a better leader in the different aspects that I have in my life. So what you're going to see today is an example of one of our normal meetings where we have three main aspects. We have the prepared speeches, which will be Beatrice today, and she'll be doing a speech out of the Competent Communicator Manual, which will specifically look at aspects of talking. It could be body language, it could be the tone and the sound and the volume and the pitch of her voice, it could be movement on the stage, the different things that make people an effective speaker, and that's why the manual is very important, because it focuses on specific things at a time to build a person's speech craft. After that, we will have the table topics session, which is a very quick, impromptu speaking opportunity. Essentially, the table topics master comes up here and addresses questions to the audience, and then with no preparation or no time to really write down the answer, individuals are called up and asked to answer that as best they can. And I kind of, similar to what you would have in an elevator, if you were in an elevator and somebody said, "Hi, Jacob, what brings you here today?" And he gives you a chance to give a 30-second impromptu answer that is smooth, polished, warm, and it builds that ability to do impromptu speaking very quickly. And then last but certainly not least is the evaluation portion, where evaluators will come up here and talk specifically to Beatrice about her speech, address things that were strengths, things that they'd like to see her improve upon. And to me, that's really one of the most important aspects, because that's what she's going to take away and say, okay, I got this part down, but I want to build my skills in this area. So that'll be our essential meeting for today. But first, I'd like to introduce to you our Toastmaster of the day, one of our club mentors, a longtime Toastmaster, Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Leadership Bronze, and has been a great mentor and leader for our club, Mr. Bobby Canseco.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Glad to be back.
Great.
As your Toastmaster. But I also would like to, first of all, acknowledge that we are being able to conduct our meeting here at MKC. I've attended a lot of clubs in my 7 years with Toastmasters. I've seen how they struggle in finding the right place to meet. Some meet at restaurants, some meet at church, function rooms, and some meet at school places. And some are not really conducive, it's not exciting, or it's not as nice or clean or comfortable as what we have here. So take time to maybe read some of their brochures, maybe you might be interested in one of their products, just in deference to the hospitality that we receive from MKC. All right? Anyway, going forward, let us first check the roles. We have a mission statement here. Rita, can you please read the mission statement?
Toastmasters mission statement. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth.
All right, thank you. We always remind ourselves of this mission statement, Jacob, because this is so that we know exactly why we are here. Number one, first to develop our communication skills and leadership. Secondly, is to emphasize that concept of being a supportive club. That's why we are here, which means that this is the place where you can mess up big time and not worry about what will happen to you after that. But this is the right place to practice your speaking skills. Now let's have the counter. We don't have Indira here. You are going to take either.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. The counter's job is very simple. Count those ahs, ums, uhs, like, so, you know, all the filler words that you will hear. And one of the interesting things that I've noticed in my time at Toastmasters is now it's very difficult for me to listen to a political speech from a person from either party, because most of the political speakers use ahs, they really are not very smooth or polished speakers. There are exceptions, of course, but really what we're looking for with the ah counter is to try to identify those filler words that we use in the course of speaking and eliminate them. Try to speak concisely, succinctly, but also clearly, and to avoid those common filler words that we hear. And after you've been in Toastmasters for a while, you too will be listening to speeches going, oh, brother. And it really heightens the fact that the people who can speak clearly without those hesitations, even in impromptu, become much more effective speakers. So I will be counting those and reading those off at the end of the meeting. So thank you, Mr. Torres.
Thank you, Peter.
All right.
And now, Scott, as the grammarian for this afternoon, can you explain the role, please?
Sure. So the grammarian is to, one, check if all the usage of language and words and grammar is used correctly in speeches. The word of the day that we have is used in our icebreaker, sorry. Table topics, okay. It's been a while, we can call it like this. Table topics where you do have to use the word of the day, included within your quick 1-minute speech. So the word of the day today is vernacular. The definition of vernacular is using a language or dialect native to a region, country, or culture. So to be used in a sentence, the speaker was difficult to understand due to his use of an unfamiliar vernacular. So please go ahead and use that in today's table topics speech. Thank you.
All right. Since Peter mentioned about the speeches in the elections, one of the most common words or phrases that I hear is double down. I guess that's one of those vernaculars that you come with. Double down.
Blackjack.
So let's see. Timer, Roy.
I'll do.
Yes, Adolfo is going to be our timer today.
I'll do the timing today. Just as important is the delivery, the content of the speech, also the timing is important. So for today's speaker, it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes, I believe. And when the 5 minutes are reached, the green light will show. When the 6 minutes are reached, yellow. And when the 7 minutes appears, the red. That means that the person has 30 seconds to wrap up the speech. Now we're going to have also table topics. And we're going to have table topics is 1 minute minimum. You'll see the green light. Minute and a half, and then 2 minutes max. Then you have 30 seconds for the table topics to wrap up. And last is the evaluation, which is 2 to 3 minutes. So you will see the green at 2 minutes, 3, 2.5, and 3. And then 30 seconds to wrap up.
Okay, very good. And for our vote counter, you will also.
Then also vote counting, and we'll go a roll today. And vote counting at the end of the speeches, the Toastmaster or table topics master will ask for people to vote what they believe is the person that won. And what you will use is this ballot that you have in front of you, and you can select here and write the name of the person that you think is the best. Then I'll collect the votes and submit a report at the end. Thank you.
And may I add that the vote counter does not vote unless there is a tie. All right. Now, as Peter has explained, since we only have one speaker today, we will have 2 evaluators. So we will be choosing between the 2 evaluators. The 2 evaluators are, is it Elmer? And Yoli?
I don't have the book.
No, we will only have one person who will do the actual writing or evaluation, written evaluation, but Elmer will have to give the speech objectives.
Okay.
All right, so Elmer will give the speech objective for
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. I'm honored to do evaluation for Beatrice, and she's doing project number 6 on the Competent Communication Manual, Vocal Variety, correct? And her objectives are use voice volume, pitch, rate, and quality to reflect and add meaning and interest to your message. Use pauses to enhance your message. use vocal varieties smoothly and naturally. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech.
5 to 7 minutes speech.
And the title of the speech is Dating Advice.
Wow.
Interesting.
I want to know that.
Dating advice.
Take a lot of
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very dynamic speaker. I've heard her give her speech many times already. Each time I'm so impressed with her presentation, orally, physically, and she is, by the way, a pastor. And so let's hear what a pastor would say about dating. Please help me welcome.
I'm ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, and my honorable guests. Dating advice. How many of you have given dating advice? Okay. Woo. Okay, so then you would be knowing what are the two most common uses phrases in the history of dating advice when it comes to men and women. If anyone knows? The two most commonly used phrases in the history of dating advice. Usually when it comes to women, they say, play hard to get. That sounds familiar. And when it comes to men, it says, be yourself. Have you heard that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's start with what, when it comes to women, let's see if you, we'll weigh the pros and cons and see whether this advice is effective or not, which is play hard to get. Now, some people think that it is not good to show a lot of interest in the initial stages of your acquaintance. And the reason being is, you know, like they say, instead what you do is downplay these feelings of eagerness into indifference. Why? Because they say it intrigues the other person and it makes you more alluring. Do you agree with that? So, well, that's what they say. But then the bad side of this is, now the person who you're interested in will actually is not attracted to you, but instead is attracted to your persona that you put forward. And then, in the meantime, what happens is, it becomes difficult for you to sustain this superficial, you know, persona. And then, what's more is, it virtually ensures that you will never get your needs met in this relationship because you built it up on a false pretext. And with the decision to, to either keep it going on or just give it up completely. Right? So you agree with me that there's a danger to this advice. And now, coming to be yourself. When it comes to men, they say, be yourself, though it is such a vague adage. How many of you really know how to be yourself, you see? And yet, they advise you that if you are yourself, you'll be more relaxed. And in spite of being, and not only that you'll be relaxed, but you'll also you'll get to enjoy the moment. But what if you're the boring type? Okay? What if you're that needy, drooling, smelly, and that or depending chump, desperate chump? What if you are that? And to put it in the vernacular, what if you're a wuss? Okay, so would you want to be yourself? So on the other hand, what if you're confident and keeping it together, composed, fun-loving person? Chances are that you will not only gain respect, but also attraction, right? They say the funny man gets the girl. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
Or maybe it's just mine. Just because I like fun-loving people. But anyway, so now coming back to this kind of a thing. Now, how are we going to become this confident person? You know, how are we going to do that? So what experts say is that you got to know yourself. You got to understand yourself. And then they tell you, in this way, by knowing yourself, understanding yourself, you can, they say, exercise a real amount of critical distance. You can keep a critical distance between, like, and toss off, or at least manage those areas that can gross out people. You see, so you can cut out these areas that can gross out people. But I don't know if it is that easy to do it. Let me give you my own experience. When I was put in such a dilemma, you know, I was in such a situation, especially in my previous work area, where I climbed up this executive ladder and I was there with all the corporate people, and I noticed that each and every one was mean. And I thought that was the norm. I said, oh, if I am less friendly and if I am mean, I'm going to make it. But what happened was, in that process, I started hurting a lot of people. Nobody wanted to work for me, unlike before, when everything was a breeze. I would just pick up the phone and tell someone, hey, give me this paper. Oh, right now. You know, it was so easy. The moment I started becoming mean, I lost out. And I was struggling. I was in this battle until the day, trust me, when I found God. And when I found Him, I came to know me, the real me, who I am. I came to know. It was visible. And then my direction was so clear. There were no confusion, no two ways about my decision. Everything was clear cut. This is how you have to behave in order to be liked, loved. And that's my story and experience. And I hope you carry this to yourself and enjoy just coming to know God, because the bottom line is, when I found God, I found myself. That's it.
Thank you for that advice. Wow. The best advice that I received about dating was never forget your wallet. You can just imagine the pain. Especially for a guy. It's so hard to ask your date, do you have a change? Anyway, thank you, Beatrice. That was really fun and very informative. Now let me call on our table topics master. He was a very successful.
Have a report.
Oh, by the way.
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yes.
Joey, our speaker, talked for 6 minutes. I'm sorry. Beatrice, our speaker, spoke for 6 minutes and 57 seconds. That means that Beatrice qualified.
All right, thank you. Okay, now let's proceed with the table topics portion. And in this portion, we will be led by a able Toastmaster, Jesse Alvarado, a successful insurance guy, financial advisor. Yeah. Just helping
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good job. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and fellow Toastmasters. I'll be the table Toastmaster of the day, the table Toastmaster of the day. And the purpose of the table topics is really to allow you to develop you in a way that at any time, in any moment, develop you, that you can do impromptu speakings at any place, anytime. Don't forget to use the word of the day for the table topic session. Here we go. Fun. It's good. It's exciting. Here's a question. If you could give an advice about life to a 10-year-old kid, what advice would that be and why? Bobby. Yeah.
What would you advise a 10-year-old kid? Let me go back years and see, envision myself as a 10-year-old. What would be the best strategy? I would tell them, kiss as many people as you can.
Like that?
Because you can always get away with it. And then say, I'm sorry, I love you so much because whatever the situation is. Kidding aside, when you are a 10-year-old, be yourself. Enjoy yourself as a 10-year-old because those are the times where you will form a lot of memories. Experiment, try everything. Try sports, whatever sports that you want to do. Try to relate to as many people because the more friends you develop, the better because these are the memories that you will always cherish when you get older. Okay. But the best part, I really would double down on this. Kiss as many girls as you want. Well, that's what the vernacular we have for this time during the election. So, Mr. Tables.
Good job. Like that. A lot of kisses, huh? Good man. Good advice. Would you give advice to a little girl? Give a lot of kisses. Here's my next question. If money was not an issue and you could travel the world, where would you go and why? It's a fun one. Jacob. All right, good job.
Hello. Well, money wasn't the object, and I can travel anywhere. I think that I would go to Italy because one of my heritages, where I come from, is one of my parents is Italian, but he's totally lost his entire culture, that part of it, so the Italian part. And because of his grandfather, he was adopted, but he was Italian, but his parents, his parents really never got to teach him that part of the culture. And they've always told us that we were Mexican, American, Italian, but we really didn't have that other part to it. So I think that if I had enough money to do whatever I wanted, I think I would travel there and go there to see what the whole Italian culture is and maybe just discover a few things for myself and decide, if I want to keep calling myself Italian or if I want to keep being this, if I want to keep calling myself Italian or maybe even telling people that this is who I am, because I've never really been there, I've never really spoken the language or even seen it in the culture, and I think that's a front to it. So I think that if I go there and I learn the vernacular, then I'll be better assessed to tell people who I am. So that's what I would do. Thank you.
Next. There it is. If you could buy your dream home, what city would that be? And what country? And why there? Amber.
Ooh.
All right, let's see about the dream home. All right.
If I can buy a dream home, probably I would like to buy, let me see. Can I talk about previous question, where can I travel to? I think I would like to travel to Mexico because I have 2 times my friend almost tried to bring me to Mexico, but 2 times I forgot to bring my passport, so I couldn't get into the border over there. So, but I heard a lot of stories from Mexico. It's fun over there, but it's kind of dangerous, adventurous over there too. And I want to go to Guadalajara to see a lot of pretty girls, how pretty they are, and Wallace, a lot of girls got killed over there. It's kind of adventurous over there. And recently I met one Latino guy. He was like 17 years old, younger than me, and he is a nice guy, and he wants to be a pastor, and also the cops also. And he brought me to like ghetto area, like Central South America, but we went over there, eat a taco, something on the street. It's kind of like ghetto life. But I never experienced before, but it's fun. And I told him like when he bought the taco, and he told me, oh, I said, okay, we go back to my car, eat. He said, no, I usually stand over there, eat, finish, and he ride a bicycle over there, and let me feel like new experience for me, and I think I want to learn more vernacular Spanish also. I always interested learning about Spanish. When I was first time I came here, I went to first time I went to a nightclub, lunch bar around Logan area, and I was waiting for my friend outside the lunch bar, and some Latino guy, the security guy, tried to teach me Spanish, and then I remember first, but I told them, I said, oh no, I couldn't speak Spanish because I couldn't even speak proper English. How can I learn the Spanish? But they still try to keep teaching me how to speak Spanish, and they told me, like, I remember they said Gaza, Monda Caballo, Bibi Gaga, something like that. After that, I stayed in here for a while, and I went to the cosmetology school at daytime, and at nighttime I was working at a bar, and some security guy tried to teach me like advanced Spanish, and day by day I'm more and more interested in Spanish, and he said like, and one day I told this security guy, can you teach me more advanced Spanish? And he said, okay, no problem. He told me like, oh, estás caliente, and I know caliente mean, but I don't know what is estás caliente mean. And he said, are you horny? I asked him what does this mean. He said, are you horny? You know, like all the Latino guys are for your logo. Okay, thank you.
Good job. Yeah, that's what happens when you try to learn another language, right? You don't know what they're teaching you sometimes. But anyways, a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and definitely it's fun. It's just one of those things that we're supposed to learn a different language, and it's all good. What we're going to do now is call for timer report.
Yes, Mr. Table Topic Master. Bobby Canseco spoke for 1 minute 27 seconds. Jacob spoke for 1 minute 21 seconds. Both qualified, by the way. Amber spoke for 3 minutes 35 seconds. Unfortunately, Amber did not qualify.
Okay, they use a word, right?
So Bobby and Jacob qualify. Amber
they use a word, right?
That would be.
They also use a word?
For the word of the day, Bobby did use the word vernacular in his speech. Jacob as well used in his speech as well, talking about Italian, and Amber used the vernacular also in her Spanish.
Bobby used.
Bobby also did too. From politics, Polish language.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Now we're going to vote for the best speaker.
Table topics.
I'm sorry. Let's vote for the best table topic speaker. And I'll actually return control to Mr. Bobby Canseco.
All right.
Good job, my friend.
Hey.
Let's do it.
Give another hand for Jesse. Yes. Tabletop. Jesse.
Está muy caliente.
Está muy caliente, mío.
All right, let's move on to the evaluation portion, and we will be led this afternoon by our able president, Peter Josies.
Thank you, Bobby. The general evaluator's role is twofold. One is to provide a general evaluation of the meeting as a whole, how it was conducted, started on time, the different elements of the meeting, so that next week we can improve, make our meetings better, make them more compact and run on time. And the second portion is to run the evaluation portion of the contest. And we have two evaluators evaluating Beatrice's speech today. And the first one will be Elmer Donozo, and then the second evaluator will be Violi Wong. So if I could ask our Sergeant at Arms, Jesse, if you could please escort Violi out of the room so that she can give her own evaluation free of listening to Elmer's. And it gives the speaker a chance to hear two fresh evaluations without being influenced by the first evaluation. So that is a common practice in Toastmasters. If there is only one speech but two evaluators, we'll ask the second evaluator to leave the room until the first evaluator is finished. And that way you get two fresh evaluations based upon the observations of that individual. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first evaluator today, a charter member of the Global Entrepreneur Toastmasters Club, competent communicator, competent leader, and also a member of the Eclectic Dialectics Club number 3828.
All right, thank you, Mr. President and Mr. General Evaluator. When I saw the agenda this morning, I'll be evaluating Beatrice. It always excites me because Beatrice is such a natural speaker. Although I wasn't here last week, and I know you spoke again last week, I was able to catch your speech on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't miss anything on all your speeches. And today it's no different. You're still a very natural speaker. I was intrigued by the Toastmasters introduction about you, a pastor giving a dating advice. So I was trying to listen to your speech. And your speech was very well organized. You started with a question, what are the two most commonly used phrases in dating advice? And you said, for women, play hard to get. For men, be yourself. And both on these two aspects, you gave the advantages and the disadvantages. And for the women's part, the advantage of playing hard to get is it makes you more interesting to the other party, or alluring, as you said. It also intrigues the opposite sex. So, it creates more interest on you. But the disadvantage, you said, you became superficial. You're not yourself. And it's all, revolves around false pretenses. It's very true. And for men, be yourself. That's a good thing. But then the disadvantage, what happens if you're a boring, drooling man? So you're going to be like that? But the advantage is you're more relaxed, you're within your comfort zone. So what's the bottom line of the advice? Her advice is, know yourself. I think that's the bottom line. Know yourself, know what are your strong points or your weak points, and the strong points you try to emphasize it so that you can make the other party appreciate you more. Now that's the body of her speech. Well organized, well thorough, prepared. Beatrice, these are your good points. You are very pleasant to hear. There's always a friendliness in your tone. As I said, you're a natural speaker. You show sincerity, and it reflects your true personality. You're forceful. You're not monotonous in your vocal variety. You have a good vocal variety, and you're very expressive. My only suggestion is, I guess, at the beginning and at the ends of your speech, you always say, you indicated the title of your speech. You don't need to do that because the evaluator has already mentioned the title of your speech. So just go straight to your question, what are two most common phrases in dating advice? And at the end of your speech also, you just said, that's it. I don't think that's necessary to say. End your speech with a course of action, anything that will leave the audience thinking. And I guess that's the best way of ending a speech. But having said that, it doesn't take away the fact that you delivered an excellent speech, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Elmer. Now, Jesse, if you could please call Viola in for the second evaluation. Our second evaluator today is one of our founding members, charter member of our club, immediate past president, competent communicator, and competent leader, and also a dynamic speaker in her own right. I'd like to introduce to you our second evaluator for Beatrice, Ms. Viola Wong.
Woo! Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and most especially to Beatrice. It is my honor to give her evaluation for project number 6, dating advice. Dating advice. I like the fact that say, raise your hands if you give dating advice before. So that's a great opening. I like that part. Vocal variety have like high and low, high and low. So that's good because that's the project that we are doing is high, medium, and low. How you project your voice. So that's good points. What else? The volume. You go up, especially when you like before closing, you go up. And when you're speaking, I notice when you're speaking about God, about Jesus, you are like so up and up. I believe you're a good pastor. Good and great closing. You have the power right there. You gather together, again one more time, because I believe you lose some of your audience when you're doing your content. But at the end, you gather together again, and you did it right. This is number 6 already, Beatrice, and you can do more. You can push yourself more and you can do better. I would like to see next time you don't move too much, you know. Because when you stop smiling, the people, and stop laughing in front here, the people, your audience, can like want to know more. Is he real serious? Am I going to follow the advice from her? Or is he just joking? Okay. Next is you talk too fast. You have a lot of energy and I like that. But when you talk slower and slower, and your audience want to listen and lean more and want to know more what you're talking about. The content. I'm not really impressed about the content. You can do more, maybe you can have like steps to successful dating. Step number 1, step number 2, number 3. This is what I used when I was dating. Or my kids dating. I like that. So the content wasn't really clear, but you can do better for the next one. I did, you know, my son, I always say advice, you dating your girlfriend, there's only one advice I give. Always pay for food, for lunch, for breakfast, for lunch or dinner. Until today, 4.5 years, they're still together. Thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you. If I could have the timers report, please, on our 2 evaluators.
Yes, Mr. Evaluator. We have Elmer Reynoso spoke for 2 minutes, 55 seconds. And Viola spoke for 3 minutes and 5 seconds, both qualifying.
Thank you very much. All right. If we could please very quickly vote for best evaluator between Elmer and Viola. Write down your choice and give them to Adolfo. And while we're collecting those, as the odd counter, I will also give the odd counter report today. And one of the things I like about being the odd counter is it really forces me to be a better listener. I really noticed that I have to focus in on, as Scott's word said, the vernacular. I have to focus in on, is the person using the word and as part of their normal sentence, or is it one of those and where you're stalling for time trying to fill in the spaces? So it was very instructive for me to be the eye counter again. It's been a long time, so it's good for me to hear that. So I'll start off with our Toastmaster, Bobby. He had 3 ahs and 2 so's, mostly at the beginning, but as he got his feet under him, he became much smoother. Jesse, as Table Topics Master, I only heard 1 ah from you, and you've improved in so many ways from when the very first time that I remember you being called up for Table Topics to answer the question, but I can't even begin to describe how much, just how good you are becoming as a speaker and as a leader here. It's tremendous to watch. Jacob, you had 4 ahs, 2 ums, and one of those ands that drags out. And I have to commend you on your speech because it was very, very good for the first time Table Topics. That is one of the things I would recommend you focus on, is those little filler words, because otherwise your impromptu speech is very good. Amber, I heard you say 5 ahs and 4 ums. Again, your speech was very good, and that's one of the things you can focus on going forward. Beatrice, you had 2 of your uhs, 4 you knows, 1 and 1 and. Not bad, but again, an area for improvement. Scott, 2 ums, only a couple that I heard. Adolfo had 1 ah. Melmer had 3 ums and 2 ahs. So for me, it was very, hey, and I just used a so, but I don't have to count mine because I'm the ah guy. So actually very good. And one of the things that, as we go forward, that's one of the things we want to be very conscious of, because I'm not only aware of it watching people speak, but also in my own speech as well. So I'm going to wrap up here with the general evaluation. We did start late again, 12:14 p.m. That's a constant challenge for our club. And I know that a lot of people here are coming from other jobs, coming from work, dealing with traffic, and it is difficult to start at 12 o'clock. But that is really one of the imperatives, I think, that we want to do going forward, because it's important for new members that come here to say, hey, they start at 12, they finish at 1, so that then they can plan the day around it. That's very, very important. Violi was great as president and really focusing in on that, and I think that's something that I need to focus in as well to get us to start on time. I want to thank Jesse and Adolfo for setting everything up. As usual, they had the room ready to go, had the tables ready to go. Those guys are great and very conscientious about getting us set up for success here, and I really appreciate the job they do every week. And I also like the way that most of us, from what I saw, and I couldn't watch everybody, but most of us greeted our guests. Went up to Jacob and Amber, said hello, introduced themselves. I think that's really important. When we have guests here, that we individually go up and introduce ourselves and say, hey, welcome. My name is Peter. I've been here for, we've been here for about a year. I've been here since the beginning. Just introduce yourself a little bit and break the ice for the guests, because I know how difficult sometimes when you're a guest and you come into a room, everybody knows each other and you don't know anybody. So it really helps, and I really like the way that a lot of us did that, went up to them and just took a minute to say hello. And as always, great flexibility by our members getting the different job roles, the different meeting roles covered. We are very, very good at that, and I continue to encourage everybody to jump in and fulfill the roles as needed. Somebody can't make it, and it happens to all of us, especially with a lunch meeting. Jump in and cover a role you haven't done before. I haven't done eye counter in I don't know how long, so it was a lot of fun for me to do that again, really listen to that. So with that, I'd like to turn the meeting back over briefly to our Toastmaster. Thank you, everybody.
Good job, Peter. In some clubs, they also time the general evaluator.
Oh.
That Adolfo take note.
If you, come to think of it, if you're in a tight schedule, you really have to make sure that you're within your time limit. Of course, we're not going to say, hey, you're good. But anyway, I am so delighted to be your Toastmaster this afternoon. And I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself as well, especially the table topics. With that, I would like to return control back to our president.
All right.
another round of applause for Bobby. All right, so we do have some of our coveted ribbons to give out today before we wrap up our meeting. And first, I would like to acknowledge one of our first-timers, her first opportunity to speak here at our club, and she did a great job. Amber, would you come up here? Please accept. All right,
Amber, I'll teach you better stuff.
Right here, right here.
All right, good job. There you go.
All right, thank you. Secondly, for our best table topic speaker, and also a first-timer, please give a round of applause to Jacob.
All right.
He has two of the coveted ribbons.
Wow.
Right here. Okay.
All right. Good job, Jacob.
All right, good job.
Our best evaluator today, between two stellar veteran evaluators,
Yes.
goes to the only one.
Thank you.
Smile. One more time. All right.
Thank you.
And finally, our best speaker today, and she truly did a great job, Miss Beatrice. Picture.
Smile. Yes.
One more.
Can you move a little here so I can see the...
Oh yeah, here you go on the inside. How's that?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
All right, thank you. Well done.
And
so with that wraps up our meeting for this week. We are going to have a brief meeting afterwards to discuss the anniversary meeting for the club. And if the guests have any questions, please ask the...
They can say their comments. The guests can say their-
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. Amber, could you please stand up and give us your feedback, what you thought of our meeting today?
You guys are very talented and can explain the law very well and clearly, and it's kind of very organized. Even it's like a small group. Yeah, and I think I hear great speech from her. Even she jump around the stage. Okay, I think it's really good. It's a dynamic speech. Here today. Thank you.
And then Jacob, please stand and tell us what you thought of our group.
Yeah, I'd like to agree. I felt very welcome here, and I'd like to thank you all for that. I thought it was really formal and really organized, and I think that was one thing I didn't really expect. So it looks, with all the speeches and all the people that have gone up and all of this, the roles, looks like you guys are really, it's really effective. So I look forward to joining you.
Well, thank you everybody for a great meeting and a great week. Hope everybody has a great weekend coming up. We have some Division H speech contest, I believe, is on Friday the 19th. And I'm not sure if anybody can make it there, but I would encourage people to at least check your email, and I can forward out the details on that. And also, like I said, we're going to have a brief meeting afterwards for our anniversary meeting. So with that, our meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a great afternoon.